Hello, hello, hello. I am Zakiya Monique, Master Relationship Strategist, transformational speaker, best-selling author of Killer Connections, and I'm also the founder of the Safe Space with Zakiya Monique. And we are getting ready for a reboot because we're now going to be serving leaders and aspiring leaders who need a community where they can learn, laugh, lament, love, grow, heal, come and sit with other leaders and warriors and have your moment, be vulnerable and still get up and be counted amongst the strongest leaders and strongest warriors. A place where you can pour into yourselves because way too many of us spend thousands of dollars on professional development and forget to fix us, forget to deal with our trauma and drama, forget to invest in personal development, not understanding that personal development is the gas that drives that professional development car, right? So if you know that you are a leader or you're aspiring to be an even greater leader, you're aspiring to come into leadership of any kind, whether it's in the workplace, the church house, or wherever it is, if you know that that's something you're supposed to be doing or you're going to be doing or you aspire to do, come on to the safe space. It is a place where you can come, heal, grow, love, laugh, lament. Trust me, you don't want to miss the reboot. Go to www.zmsafespace.com. Trust me, your relationships will thank you. Now, I received a question and I want to take the time to answer it by video for two reasons. Number one, I didn't think I would do it justice if I tried to, write an answer out. And number two, for some reason, when we see anything over a paragraph, we start sneezing and we're allergic because we don't want to read nothing. So, hopefully this video won't be over 20 minutes. But for the people who are like, can you give me the short version? I'm gonna give you the short version in the beginning. So what was the question? Well, the question was, outside of unconditional love as a parent, do I think that romantic relationships can obtain unconditional love, or is it only contingent as long as the relationship is together? So first of all, I want to thank my homie, my fam in real life, 96 for life, for this question. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this question. Second, the short answer is yes. Unconditional love can be obtained in romantic relationships. And even after the relationship may have soured, or maybe the two people allowed something to get in between them, that love will still be there. But it really depends on what you believe. Okay, so that's the short answer of it. All right. Now, let me give you the quick, thorough version. I'm going to make it quick. There are 8 published types of love. I only believe or recognize 7 of them. I'm going to put a card up here so that you can see the teaching on that if you want. I mentioned that because we got to understand the ends of the spectrum here to understand what I'm getting ready to say. First and foremost, the lowest and easiest love to attain is lust, right? Why? Ain't no trust required in lust. As a matter of fact, you better not trust lust, okay? And also, lust is regulated by the flesh. So you can have what you want, you do what you want, that's that, right? But on the flip side, the highest and hardest love to attain is what? Agape love. That's the unconditional love that the question is about. Agape is Greek for the type of love that is unconditional, selfless, and sacrificial. So at this end of the spectrum, you have no trust, regulated by the flesh, bang that thing, do what you want. Over here, you have unconditional, selfless, and sacrificial. Total ends of the spectrum. Okay. This agape love is the type of love that puts others before yourself and is often described as the highest form of love in humanity. This is the lowest form of love in humanity, which is lust. Highest form of humanity is agape. Now, I believe that we were born in sin and shaped in iniquity until we were redeemed by God. With that being said, apart from God or his involvement, we can't love, in my view, anyone or anything unconditionally because it's not in our nature to do so. I just told you we were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. So it is not our nature. It is not innate for us to be love unconditionally, selfless, and sacrificial. It's not innate. Okay, it is something that God, it's a love that only God has, and it's a love that only God gives. So apart from God, it's not available to us. This is why some parents don't even have unconditional love for their children, if we really want to be honest, because some parents are compromised by the enemy. It's another story for another day. But Let's move on. So I want to look at the state of relationships today real quick. Most people are getting married for three reasons, or one of three reasons, sometimes more than one of these, but at least one of these three reasons. Number one, sex. I'm Christians, I'm about to pick on us because Christians be getting married because they want to bang that thing in peace. So a whole lot of Christians be wanting to bang that thing in peace. So, we've heard it's better to marry than to burn with passion, but the Bible didn't say it was better to marry him or better to marry her than to burn with passion. Just saying. Okay, so some of us get married because we want to bang that thing. We ain't thought about nothing else because we like the way they make us ooh and ah, but we ain't never thought that maybe that thing that get up might not get up one day and that it might stay down. Just saying. And so then what? Right? Then the second one is status. We look good together. We get money. Okay. Yeah. But what happens when you're in need of some things that money can't buy? What happens when you're in a situation where status don't matter? Okay. How long you going to live your life where your core is raggedy, but the outside is cool and clean? Y'all got matching cars and matching outfits, but y'all are not substantive together. Y'all not vibing together. Y'all not producing no good fruit. Y'all not leaving no good legacy for your kids. All y'all do is turn up and get drunk and tear up the house and fight and all this crazy stuff. But y'all look good together. Smile for the Facebook cameras. But in real life, y'all miserable. Kids can feel that and see that, and people can too. People know when you're faking the fun. People know when you're really happy and you're not. Okay. And then number three, and let's be clear, some people say, I don't care what people think. If you got married for status, you do. But okay. The number three is settlement. You outlasted the rest, so I'm going to go and marry you. Or I couldn't have who I wanted. I didn't want to level up for her or him. I couldn't keep the best, so I'm going to just settle for less. Settlement precedes resentment and bitterness. This is why you see a lot of older people be mean, because they feel like I got stuck with Willie Earl. I got stuck with Betty Jean, because I had all them kids and all them children. They get mean. Settlement is the reason that people are with someone that they know they shouldn't be with. And this is causing a huge problem because God didn't join you. So if God didn't join you, then that means you're like this. See, when you're in purpose and on purpose, you're like this. But when you're not, you're like this, because God joins, God has a mate for us and our purposes are together and it will bring much fruit to the kingdom. But when you're not in alignment with the will of God, you're doing this, which means there's no purpose flowing out in the earth. Okay. If you want to know if your union was blessed to God, what fruit are you producing? Who are you helping outside of who you birthed? What did you birth? Okay. So just because the pastor said what God joined together, let no man put asunder, just because you got married in a church, just because you look good together, and even if you lasted for years, that does not mean that God joined you together, because sometimes your punishment, your harvest, your reaping is God letting you have the one you thought you wanted, the one that you turned on him for, the one that you beat her or him out for. Since you think you beating somebody, I'm going to let you have them. I'm going to let you have them until you find out you don't want them. But some of us won't even admit it then. We'll just keep settling and keep being miserable, okay? Now, I want you to notice, I ain't lost my spot. I want you to notice that of these three reasons that most people are getting married for, sex, status, and settlement, understand that not nan one of these require unconditional love, not nan one of these require selflessness, not nan one of these require sacrificial love. Like it's not sacrificial. So it's easy for us to think that something is impossible when we no longer see it or when the world thinks it's hard. See, ain't nobody seeing unconditional love in relationships that you got married for sex, status, or settlement. So we start to think it must be impossible. It must be too hard. But why is agape love so hard to come by? Let me tell you really quickly. Because we don't get to control the narrative. Only God has it. Only God gives it. So we're subject to who and what? God's will and God's timing. And let me tell you that the weight, W-E-I-G-H-T, of the weight, W-A-I-T, is real. Waiting on God is hard. because you have to learn to wait well, not complaining, not murmuring, not sitting looking out the window waiting for him to come. Is he coming? Is he coming? Is he coming? Is that him? Is that him? Is that him? Is that her? Is that hers? Hers? No. We're supposed to be found working. Everybody want to talk about Ruth and Boaz, but Ruth was found working, right? Let me tell you, I know from experience through fear and impatience, I went off on my own and got married. And let me just tell you that not waiting on God and doing your own thing is highly not recommended. Don't do it. Don't do it. But one day, for as simple as it sounds, I realized that God is the best one for the job when it comes to choosing for me, so that I can get the agape love. Because he created me and everybody in this world. He knows what purpose he wants to achieve for my life. He knows the road ahead. He knows what I need. He knows the heart of every man. Why would I choose for myself again? Have you ever heard the saying that true love never dies? This is because unconditional love is spiritual. And we are spiritual beings having a natural experience. So true love never dies because it's spiritual. The spirit never dies. It is the only love that is bonded in spirit. That's why it's hard, because you can't fake this. It comes from God. You can't play God. Many of us try to manipulate God. We try to tell God, I won't do no God. I'm going to do right by them. I'm going to do God like, baby, save it for David. Okay? There is a sensing and a knowing in this love that exceeds and surpasses all others. This is the love that does not leave when you want it to. This is the love that sometimes angers you because why do I still love them? Why can't I stop thinking about them? Why, as bad as they done hurt me, why do I still care? Why do I still love them? You can't turn it off. Why? Because you didn't give it to yourself. God brought this love and deposited in you and deposited in her or him, and y'all just can't, it can't, you like, okay. This is the love that attracts spiritual warfare because this love has the ability to produce a legacy of fruit that will feed multiple generations. Notice that I didn't just say generational wealth, because unfortunately we equate wealth with riches and money. But this is bigger than money, and this is bigger than who you birth. This is about what you will birth together. This is why it's such a fight sometimes. This is why you don't see it all the time, because it's the hardest and the highest level of love that we attain. If you ever love someone with an agape love, you will forever love them no matter what. It will never die. No matter what lie you try to live, no matter what lie you try to give, your heart will skip a beat when their name is mentioned. Your body language will show it. It's like it's a pull on your soul when it comes to them. And it's a connection in your spirit that leaves you speechless. This person knows you inside and out because it's almost like knowing themselves. This love requires that we give our hearts to God, and that person accesses our hearts by going through God to get it. There's a certain purity that is required. And sometimes, let me just be honest. Can I just go and be honest up and through this thing? Sometimes we disqualify ourselves from being able to attain this high level of love because our foundations are filthy, funky, and foul. So we disqualify ourselves. I have experienced this love before. And the foundation of that relationship was pure. What I mean by that, because we weren't perfect, but what I mean by that is before we ever hugged, kissed, or anything, we fell in love. And we couldn't explain it. We couldn't explain it. Despite the hurt, the pain, the disappointments, the love was still there and still strong because we didn't put it there. God did. So yes, it is possible in a romantic relationship, but it is imperative that God is in the midst, as it is his will and his timing that will usher us into this love, usher us into this union, And his guidance is what will help us remain in this love. And truth be told, there is no better person. There's no better entity. There's no better spirit. There's no better whatever you call him to call the place. Agape love is the hardest to obtain. But when you do, your life will never be the same. There will never be another love that will compare. Every other love will pale in comparison to that specific love, because that is the love of God through a person for you. It's almost as if God has gifted you him in human form. And that's why many of us don't think it's possible, because we don't go past lust. It's a certain type of purity of heart that requires you to be able to enter into agape. And some of us can't get past lust with the way that we carry our hearts, with our heart posture. But it is possible. I know, because I've experienced it. I know. So, yes, it is possible, but not without God. I hope this helps. If you have any other questions, or you have some follow-up questions, please put them in the comments, or please ask and I will answer via video again. I thank y'all so much. I love y'all so much. Please share this. Help me to get the word out. Share my posts on Facebook if you can, just to help me get the word out. I can't do it alone, but I definitely put it out there. So I need y'all help. And I thank y'all for, for just wondering what my opinion is. I appreciate that. I'm humbled by that. I want you to have a great evening. You already know how, and I beat the 20 minutes. What? Have a great evening. You already know how, on purpose. God bless you.